Welcome to the today's session. Today we are going to discuss about the location of encryption devices. And so far we have discussed about the encryption process, various algorithms, how to perform the encryption as well as decryption by using that algorithm. See here, so when you are selecting the particular algorithm to perform the encryption decryption process is important. Along with that, we have to understand what to encrypt and also where these encryption devices are located. These 2 points we should understand. So, what I have to encrypt, where the actual encryption devices are there. So, for this, we have two alternatives. One is link encryption, another one is end to end encryption. So, what is link encryption? What is end to end encryption? See, the link encryption is, you can see the diagram, the ellipse filled with the black color called end to end encryption. The ellipse with empty are called as link encryption device. Okay. See, the end to end encryption is performed at the endpoints, means at the source and destination side. Then you can observe the link encryption devices. These are in between the network. When a data is approached to the PSN, packet switch network or packet switch node, it has to perform the decryption process to find out the packet header. After finding the packet header, the data, it will be transferred to the next PSN, and there again it has to be performed the decryption process. See here, the link is equipped on both ends with an encryption devices. See, when a link is established between the two devices, the two devices are equipped with the encryption device. So both can perform the encryption. So all the traffic over all communication links are secured. So this requires a lot of encryption devices if the network is large, and also it provides the high level security. The disadvantage here is the message must be decrypted each time it enters the packet switch. That's what I told you. Every time when the packet enters into this packet switch node, every time it has to perform the decryption. That is the main disadvantage. So what is the necessity of this? Because the packet header you must know to transfer the data from the device to the next node. Without decryption, you cannot find the packet header. So, it is vulnerable at each switch. If this is a public packet switch network, then the user has no control. It is a public network, all the people can use. And next you see the end-to-end encryption process, and this encryption process is carried out at both endpoints. The source encrypts the data, it is in the encrypted form, then transmitted to the through the network to the destination. So the destination shares the key with the source, because if it is a symmetric encryption process, both the sender and receiver has to use the same key. So the transmission should be secure here to avoid the attacks. So the host may only encrypt the user data position of the packet, and it leave the header in the leave the header clear so that the network can read the packet header. So that is performed. Here the header will not be encrypted. That is clear, open. So in the note 1, the end-to-end encryption, the user data are secure, but the traffic pattern is not, because the packet header are transmitted in the network. Both, if you want the greater security, the link and end-to-end encryption are required, are needed. See, for the symmetrical encryption system, the two parties must know the same key. So the key distribution plays the important role, because all the security you are provided with the key distribution. See, whatever the data encrypted with the key, with the same key, it has to be decrypted to get the original text. To perform that, the keys should be exchanged between the source and destination. Between the source and destination. Okay? So, what is the strength here? The system rests with the key distribution techniques. Mainly, it is a key distribution technique. So, that has to be more secure. Otherwise, we face some difficulties. Okay? So, that means the delivery of a key between two parties that wish exchange data securely. Here, for the distribution of the key, sharing of the key, here it is defined 4 ways. Number 1, let us take an example, Alice and Bob. We need to share the key between these two people, these two persons, or these two systems. See, one option is the key is selected by Alice and delivered to the Bob. Second option is the third party could select the key and deliver to the Alice and Bob. Third option is both Alice and Bob already used a key previously or recently, so they can encrypt with that key. The fourth option, both Alice and Bob can have the encrypted connection, secure connection between them with a trusted third party. Then they can deliver the key through that trusted encrypted connection. In such a way, in the four ways, the key can be distributed by the source and destination. So let us see here. The option 1 and 2 call for manual delivery of a key. These two. If you choose 1 and 2, it is a manual delivery of a key. This is seasonal for linked encryption. See, for end-to-end encryption, manual delivery is difficult. So, in a distributed system, any host and terminal may need to exchange or may need to engage in exchange with many other hosts, the terminal over time. So, every device or each device needs a number of keys supplied dynamically. So what is the problem here? The problem becomes quite difficult if the network is wide area distributed system, then automatically the number of keys will be increased. See the note 4, option 3. This is this option, Alice and Bob have already previously. If that is option 3 is possible for only a link encryption on end-to-end encryption. If an opponent ever succeed in gaining access to one key, then all subkeys are revealed. If they try to get a key, then we should get the subsequent subkeys also. Then note 5, to provide keys for end-to-end encryption, option 4 is preferable. So this is preferable. What is the option 4? The encrypted connection between the Alice and Bob. So when a trusted connection is there, you can share the keys between the source and destination. Okay. Now we will see KDC, Key Distribution Center. See the trusted third party TTP is known as Key Distribution Center. Let us see the diagram here. So see this diagram. See this diagram. I am talking about Key Distribution Center KDC. See here the KDC. The two hosts want to share their information. How they can share? Means the host send the packet request connection. See here, the host is sending the packet request connection, number 1. The front end buffer packets ask for KDC for session key. So for this particular session, you need a key, a session key we call. Session means for this particular session, it needs a key. For that purpose, the front end buffer packets, this FE, ask the KDC for session key. For session key. This KDC distributes the session key to both front ends. So to this one and this one. You can see the direction. Okay. The buffer packet transmitted. So like this, the data will be transmitted. So first it will send the packet request connection. This request is received by the front end buffer. The front end buffer sends this request to the KDC for the session key. This KDC will provide the session key for both the hosts. Then the data will be transferred from these two hosts. That is KDC, Key Distribution Center. It is also called as Key Exchange Authority or Key Exchange Center. So when a permission is granted, the KDC provides a one-time session key for that connection. So after that connection, after the distribution, it will close the session. It will end the session. See, the session keys are used for the duration of the session. Duration means for that particular period only. At the end of the session key is destroyed. So first it is generated, at the end or at the conclusion, the key will be destroyed. This front end processing, it performs the end to end encryption and obtains the session key on behalf of the its host on terminal. So this will work in before the system. See the steps involved here. The step one, when a host, when one host wishes to set up a connection to the another host, it transmits a connection sequence packet. Step 2, the FEP saves the packet and applies to the KDC for, this is what I have shown here. That is what we discussed in the diagram. Step 1, step 2, 3, step 4. Just to go through this. Okay? And this is step 5. And next, see the note 7. If the KDC is often burdened with extensive key management, then the KDC also can act as a key escrow agent. So it itself is an attractive target for a distributed denial of service attack. So for these reasons, the symmetrical encryption should be avoided altogether, because the same key has to be distributed. The another approach is the another approach to security is public key encryption. So you can distribute this much easier in the network. So this is what about the KDC. Key distribution center, or you can call this as a key exchange authority, or you can call it as a key exchange center. So any doubts? Okay. So see the next one, message authentication. So what do you mean by message authentication? Authentication means authorized person. See, authorized person, unauthorized person. What is the necessity of these words here? Whenever you say the security, so there definitely we need to talk about the authorized persons and unauthorized persons. Those who are having the permissions, those who are eligible for access, we call them as a authorized persons. So the others we call as a unauthorized persons. So for that authentication is required. What do you mean by authentication? Identity. What is authentication? Identity. Let us take an example. Somebody came to your home. They have given the bell. You open the door. When you welcome them to your home and when you reject them, when you question them, can anybody? If somebody came to your home, when you welcome them, when you question them,
When those persons known to us, sir.
yeah, very good. See, if they're known to you, maybe they are your relatives, your friends, your neighbors. Simply to say, if they are known to you, you welcome them. Yeah, please come. How are you? So something conversation will go on. Similarly, that is called identification. You identified that person as authorized person. Then only you allowed him to your home. So same way, in a key distribution approach also, it has to be authenticated. How it will be authenticated means I told you with the identity. What we say? Identity. See, authentication is the process of recognizing the user's identity. After identifying the identity, then only we recognize whether he is a authenticated person or not. So this is the mechanism of associating an incoming request with a set of identifying credentials. When credentials provided are compared to these on a file in a database of the authorized users information on a local operating system or within an authenticated server. See, there are types of authentication. There are three types: message encryption, message authentication code called MAC, hash functions. So these are the three types of authentication. I told you we need to, what is authentication? We need to identify. We need to identify the identity. That is the authentication process. Now we will discuss this message encryption, message authentication code, and hash functions.